They were really angry about the fact that we put so much energy, so much coordination, so much resources into ensuring this bill sees the light of the day. But in less than 48 hours, we made this bill the topic of Nigeria. And not just Nigeria, but the globe at large. And I'll tell you how it happened. As much as we were angry, we were focused. And this united us. You know, on that group we had Muslims, we had Christians, we had Igbos, Hausa, Yoruba, and everybody. But we were not talking about religion or culture. We were only talking about the Not Too Young to Run bill. I remember the day we mobilized young people to come on the streets. Because before then, all we had was engagement at the state level. And it might interest people to know that in Maiduguri, when we had the National Day of Action, we had over 6,000 people on the street of Maiduguri, where we have insurgents. But on that morning, where we converged at the Unity Fountain, I was part of the first people that turned out. And around 6:30, it was raining heavily. It was heavy downpour. But what we did was to send a tweet. So we took a picture of the Unity Fountain with a heavy downpour. And we said to young Nigerians that we are here waiting for other people to join us. And that tweet went so far that in less than 1 hour, we had over 2,000 young people in the Unity Fountain. Again, people misunderstand the Not Too Young to Run campaign or the movement. It's not about politics. It's about governance, and effective governance. When Omojua asked how many of us was in a political party, you know, only 2 or 3 people raised their hands. I would never raise my hand. Not because I don't believe in politics, but because some of us would never join a political party. And that's the reality. I would never join a political party, not because, you know, I don't believe in some of the ideologies, but because I don't necessarily believe I have to join a political party to contribute towards governance and politics. I remember, and I will share a couple of stories. When we had over 2,000 young people.
Signals, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Stop.
When we had over 2,000 young people, I remember on that same day, people contributed money to buy food. People contributed money to buy pure water. You know, people bought granite for us to share. And for the very first time in our democracy, we shut down the National Assembly. I remember when the speaker was driving in, he had to turn and take the back door because over 2,000 young people was in front of the National Assembly and asking for one singular thing: pass the Not Too Young to Run bill. Before that time, the bill has been struck out from the Constitutional Review Committee. But because of that singular act, the bill came back from nowhere. And it didn't just come back. During the plenary, we had over 75% votes at the Senate, and same at the House of Representatives. And for those people who watched it live, we saw our lawmakers stood up and saying, we vote yes for Not Too Young to Run bills, right. Even older people. One thing they understood is, we have the numbers.
Yes.
We have the energy. And I want to believe that 2019 will set, there will be that dimensional shift. We will set that pace. It might not happen for a young person to be president in 2019. But in 2023, go and mark it down. Something would happen in this country that would see a young president. Not because we're not ready or we're not willing in 2019, but we would use 2019 to test something from all the series of debates that is happening. I know a young man who is about 40 years, who is now traveling around the country saying he wants people to vote him for president. That's inspirational. Our generation is one of the worst in the world. And I'll tell you what, we're not allowed to aspire. I'm below 30 years, but I can't be a governor. Not because I can't be a fantastic governor better than Bello in Kogi State, but because constitutionally I can't run to become governor. And as much as we debate the Not Too Young to Run, there's one element in the law that most people don't talk about: the independent candidacy.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to be in a political party to run. So if my brother Chibweze wants to run in his state, he does not necessarily have to align with any political party. But as Chibueze, and that is what we want in Nigeria.